It's not going to replace Jambo.
Yeah, Jambo and him stuff.
This is a test of the Kaiju emergency alert system.
Keep
This
it
is
clean.
only a test. In the
You know,
event of an
first
actual
FurryCon,
kaiju
the dirtiest
attack,
panel.
the signal you just heard would be followed by emergency information, news, or instructions. I repeat, this is only a test. We now return you to regularly scheduled programming.
All right, who of us would be super excited if that actually came onto a TV and stuff, right? Just a little bit. It's like, oh no, the world's going to be destroyed. Oh, that's hot. All right, guys, we're going to get going here in just a minute. This is First FurCon. Actually, even before we get going, I need to know, who here is at their very first IFC? You've never been to IFC before?
I haven't.
Hell yeah! Now keep those up, keep those up. Only put them down if this is your first, I'm sorry, put it down if this is not your first FurCon. If you've never been to a FurCon before, keep those hands up. Oh, we have people that haven't been to FurCons before.
Welcome.
Oh, this is horrifying. Welcome, guys! This is fantastic. I love seeing new people out here. Here's what this panel is going to be. This is mainly going to be informative, helping you find out the little differences, the subtle nuances, the not so subtle nuances of the difference between a FurCon and other cons out there, and some of the things that you can do to have a better time at this con. And my opening spiel has taken us to 11 a.m., so ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, welcome to So This Is Your First FurCon! Well, we always start with the piece of advice that I wish I had gotten at my first FurCon. Because about 15... Oh God, we're going on 2 decades. About 19 years ago, my friend kicked me out of a moving vehicle in the parking lot of MFF Hotel. He was not interested in staying at the convention when he saw somebody walking around in a Speedo and a bra and looking like Chewbacca. Wasn't really their thing. So of course, what did I do at my first FurCon? I owned the night. I showed up. And I hit the ground running. That Thursday was incredible. I met so many people. Thursday night was exhausting and drink-like. Friday was a blur, and Friday night is when I started to feel sick. By Saturday, I could not enjoy the con anymore. Guys, there's a rule that was come up with years and years ago. It was actually come up by the anime crowd. A Dr. Passavoy, an actual doctor. Those things can be helpful at conventions. Said, hey, a lot of you got sick. You know what you need to do? Follow these 3 simple rules. You guys know this rule as 621. Who knows what 621 stands for? AV knows. I do not believe that AV knows what 621 stands for. I'm surprised to see you eating. 621, we start with the 6. 6 hours of sleep a night. It sucks, and it's hard to do. The first time I came to a FurCon, I lost my mind. I did everything I could to stay up and experience as much of the event as I could, forgetting one simple fact. The event keeps going even if you're asleep. You don't need to worry about stuff like that. Guys, get your 6 hours of sleep. Your body needs time to recharge. Sleep is when your body fights all those wonderful new little pathogens that you are getting in there. Sleep is when you recover from the stupidity of your day. Really important to get those 6 hours. And why is it important? There are people at this convention from all over the country. I actually haven't got my readout from this con. Most cons that we go to, we have representatives from almost every state in the U.S., and usually a few people from overseas. In fact, I do know for a fact that we have a few people here from Canada, a few from Mexico, and I believe that my friend from England is also here. And that's really cool. Furry is a wonderful opportunity to meet people from all over the world in one central location and drink with them, because that's how this works most of the time. However, That means that they are bringing in pathogens that your body has never encountered before. Your body needs time to fight those. That starts with 6 hours of sleep and bleeds into the two full meals a day. A Cliff Bar is not a full meal. A coffee is not 6 hours of sleep. And a Monster Energy drink is basically poison. Stop it. Guys, those 2 meals, and those 2 meals should include something that is green. Naturally green. You're all clever sons of furries. I know what you are capable of. No, there should be some form of lettuce, maybe even a broccoli. Pretend you're a kaiju. Am I already? Oh,
I hear you on recording.
Oh, we're recording. Sorry about that. Guys, you need those 2 meals a day. Please find some time with your friends and have them. Don't want to go to a restaurant? Don't want to leave the site? I'm the same way. Grab some food from a local store. Make sure that you can make some sandwiches for yourself in your room. You will get sick. Sleep is when your body fights those pathogens. Food is the fuel that gives your body the energy to do exactly that. I know it's easy to forget to eat at these things. I forgot to eat last night. I remembered at 3 in the morning. I am regretting it now because I had one option, and that was pizza that I don't know where it was from or when it was from. It was crunchy, but I ate it. Please take care of yourselves. After the first FurryCon I went to, I came home on Sunday, a day earlier than I had wanted to, and then I took a week off work. I got so sick from staying up for 3 days around 1,000 people that I had never met before that I ended up having to take off work for 3 days, and then you know what happened? I didn't have the days off for the next convention. 6 and 2 are rules for you. You will get more out of this convention if you can enjoy it in its entirety, so please take care of yourself. Which then brings us to the 1. 1 shower a day. 6 and 2 is for you. 1 is for everybody else. The human olfactory gland is one of the most interesting in the animal kingdom. Why? Because dogs, cats, animals, they all get these amazing senses. Cats with that 7th sense to be able to tell when you're sneaking up on them with a cucumber. Dogs with their incredible scent and hearing. Humans, what do we have? We've got these stupid things. We've got these stupid things that tell us our parents sucked and we should become furries. We have brains, and they are complicated machines. One of the tricks that your brain pulls on you is evident anytime you walk into a bakery. Who here has walked into a bakery and smelled all that fresh bread, those insanely cool pastries, just marring your senses? What happens about 10 minutes later?
You can't smell it. Damn.
You can't smell anything in that store. Your brain is so aware that we suck at doing things that it will start taking scents, smells that you were around for extended periods of time and filtering them. You don't smell those anymore unless you really concentrate. And even then, sometimes people have trouble. So, what's something that you're around all the time that you can't smell? You! You can't smell you! But we can, and it's starting to strip paint off the elevators. So, 1 shower a day, and use soap. Soap is your friend. And hell, take off the fursuit or leave it on. At this point, we don't care. Just shower. Guys, again, that's for everyone else. And then, the hidden rule, and out here, that is a 0. Do not forget that in the state of Indiana, unless a law has changed recently, the inhaling and the smoking of cannabis is illegal out here. Now, we are furries. This is a FurCon. We are not here to police. We are not here to stop your good time. We are here to do one thing. Make sure you do your good times smart. If you're gonna do something stupid, walk away from the hotel. Don't do it in your room. Oh, the fines that a hotel will levy for catching you smoking cigarettes in your rooms are one thing. If they walk into your room and immediately assume that you are a skunk furry, you are going to have a fine. And that fine does get paid by the occupants of the room. The convention cannot help with that. So guys, please remember, please be safe this weekend and know your limits. We just talked about cannabis. Please, outside, away from people, because we all know how America works. We're not stopping you. We just want you to do it smart. But on top of that, there is the party atmosphere. Tonight, there's going to be room parties going on. There's going to be gatherings in the parking lot. There's going to be gatherings right outside the door. And I encourage you to walk up and say hello. Because this is furry. If you don't know what to do this weekend, if you're here alone this weekend and you're not sure what you're going to do to have a good time, start with talking to people. Furry is one of the nicest communities out there. Never forget the difference between furry and almost every other community. In anime, in any kind of fandom-based event. I went to the Walking Dead convention. I've been to multiple conventions for multiple different shows. You know what I remember about all those shows? This is probably the only time I'm going to go to this convention. Why? Because the show's gone. The show that the convention was made off of has no more base material. That convention will never change, and stagnation is death. Furry is not like that. Furry isn't a fan of some copyrighted thing. Furry isn't a fan of somebody else's creation. Furry is a fan of itself. We create our own art. We create our own personas. How many people in here have personas? Raise your hand if you have already created your persona. I created mine right after my first FurryCon. I went in not knowing what my animal would be. I was choosing between a Komodo dragon or a ferret. And then I met a ferret. And they were basically just little hyperactive coffee assholes. I'm like, oh, that's me. Every one of you who has an idea, who has your own persona, you have created art for the furry fandom. It doesn't matter if you get a commission from someone else. It doesn't matter if it's your reference sheet. We are fans of each other. And because of that, it is much easier to talk to people in this fandom than it is in other places. Going out, joining a circle of people who are standing around and having a drink, maybe having a smoke, there's no problem with that. The worst case scenario is, I only get to see my friends a little bit every year. Apologies. Do you mind if we have some time? Guys, we're polite, we're friendly, and we want to meet each other. If you're scared about going up to a group, don't forget, all of us were at some point. I used to be shy. But it goes away. Find groups, meet them, integrate yourself, and make new friends this weekend. And there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of ways to meet new friends at a FurryCon. We're going to go into panels later on, but just to get into the weeds, this weekend you're going to see panels that are informative, panels that are fun, panels that are performances. Don't forget about those meet and greets and those informative panels. Because if you go into a room to watch information on something you are interested in, you are in a room of people who are also interested in that topic. That's your springboard. Go to those panels and meet people who you can immediately strike up a conversation with. It makes everything so much easier. And yes, these little tips are for those of us who do have a bit more problem communicating, who don't know how to make friends as easily. This is easy mode. Furry is the place to meet people. I am lucky enough to probably go to 20 of these conventions a year, and every convention I go to, there are people I see that I only see there once a year. And that's okay. It's wonderful to have that to look forward to every year. It is wonderful to be able to see your friends and spend some time with them in this relaxed, wonderful atmosphere. So make some friends this weekend, and even if you don't get to see them for another year, remember, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Also, they probably have decent booze because this is Indiana. The next thing, we're going to talk about something that happens strictly, well, not strictly, but mostly at FurCons, and that is fursuiting. Oh, fursuiting. It's been part of the furry fandom since its creation. Since somebody was walking under a bridge and a carpet fell off a truck, fell onto their shoulders, and they go, I look like a bat. Guys, fursuiting is something that is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. And before we get into the do's and don'ts, I want to get into what it is. First off, don't forget this. Some people are going to be silent fursuiters. Some people are going to be talking fursuiters. Some people are very animated. Some people are simply wearing their fursuit and wandering around. But in that moment, don't forget, that fursuit, that's their shield, that's their mask. For a lot of people in fursuit, it's a chance for them to be open. Having that barrier between you and others will let people change their personality to more reflect what they've always wanted to be. And I love that. I love that so much about fursuits. I have watched young people in this fandom whose parents were worried about them coming because maybe they did have a slight problem communicating. Maybe they've never been very open. And I've watched them get their first fursuit head, and I've watched their personalities change in that moment. And you know what? That's fine. It's wonderful for us all to be able to share in that, and it's wonderful for people to be able to get that. By simply wearing a moving, walking piece of art. It's not a costume. We all need to stop calling fursuits costumes. Why? Because costume has a donation. A word that I have forgotten. Moving on. When I used to LARP, the costumes I wore were made to get beat up. They get dirty, they get destroyed, and after a year I replaced some of them. Not a fursuit. Who knows right now the highest cost fursuit in the fandom as of right now? This number changes a lot. I have what I think is the latest number. Who has a guess?
50.
AV, what do you think? 50K is close. 50K is close. They have gone over 50K. The alien. What do you got? 62 is insanely close. On the last check, 63.5. 63.5 for a bipedal fursuit made by the same company that produced the, help me out with what they're called. Xenomorph?
Xenomorph?
Is it Xenomorph? Thank you. The company that produced the Xenomorph has produced a furry costume that did show up at AnthroCon. It is a bipedal, fully air-conditioned as far as I know. I think it's got cup holders. I have no idea. Oh, definitely Bluetooth. It hooks up to the car and everything. He can drive in it. We're all going to die. This is the level that people put into these fursuits. And does the money really matter? To some. Don't forget what it costs just to build one on your own. I have seen more and more furries come in with handmade, homemade fursuits over the last few years than I ever thought I'd see. I've had people show up to this panel being their first FurCon with a full head-to-toe fursuit. That's work. That is effort, and that is a labor of love. That is not a costume. That is a moving, living, breathing piece of art. And as long as we treat them as such, everything is going to be fine. Fursuiting is such a huge part of the fur community. So just know a few things before you go out there and interact. The first thing is, we want you to interact. Nobody wears a fursuit and then hides in the... Most people don't wear a fursuit and then just hide in their rooms. Most people. We want you to... Right? We want you to interact. They want you to interact. But there's a few do's and don'ts. So to do that, do we have anyone in here that is in a full suit? I don't think we have any full suits in here. So I need a partial. Come on up. Throw that head on. What's your name, my friend?
My fursuit name is Snow Moon.
Snow Moon? Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, give it up for Snow Moon! Oh, it's so cute. You're going to be interacting with fursuits all weekend. Now, there's a few things we want you to know. First off, hi.
Hi.
how are you? This is a talking fursuiter. They talk, and that is wonderful, and I love that because you can say silly, horrific things. First thing about fursuiters is this fur doesn't grow back. Guys, interacting with a fursuit is fun. It's neat. In fact, may I? That looks like a very nice fursuit. Would you hold out your arm? Oh, it's soft. Is this newer, or do you actually just take care of it?
Hey, I take care of
You
it.
take care of it. Good. I like that. Notice the first thing, where I interacted with the fursuit. I did want to interact with the fursuit. I wanted to see how soft it was. I asked for their arm. That is a good, friendly place to interact with the fur on a fursuit. Why not the face? Again, the fur doesn't grow back. The more we pet, touch, nose scritches the face, the faster that fur is going to start falling out and the fursuit starts to show its age. Showing the arm. Also, using the balls of my fingers just to experience the fursuit. There's no need to scritch them. This is not an actual animal, and if it is, we need to study that. They will take over, and at this point, I just want them to run for president so I have somebody to vote for. Guys, the next thing about fursuits, we just have to say it. A fursuit is not consent. A fursuit is not consent. Just because somebody's wearing a fursuit does not mean you have the right to run up to them, hug them, glomp them, which is just tackling with an extra step and more property damage. Guys, respect the people inside the suit. When I asked it to interact with the suit, I asked. Even a silent fursuiter. You want a hug? They probably do too. We're furries, we love hugs. It's as simple as this. Excuse me. That's all it takes. Don't forget, ask permission, and especially, we went over, interact with the fursuit on the arm. Never interact with the fursuit on the tummy or chest. You have no idea who is in there. If it is your best friend, he might have lent his suit to somebody else. And the last thing you want is to be given nice soft tummy rubs and the top of your hand to hit resistance and realize that's not your friend in there and you just made either a very new friend or a very bad enemy. Don't do it. You don't know who's inside the suits. We're also going to show you something else. Now, I see the eye makeup on your suit. So I think your suit is actually going to pass this with flying colors. But I still want to do it. 1 second. I'm going to put my hands to your right and to your left. When you see them, raise your corresponding hand, okay? All right, so face the audience. Tell me when you can see my hands. There we go. There's one. All right, not bad. Your right to left view is not bad. So now we have an idea of how far they can see to the right and the left. And here's the one I love, top and bottom. This is top, other hand is bottom. Ready? When you can see them. Face the audience, face the AV. Thank you. When you can see my hands. When you can see my hands. There's bottom, there's top. There we go. So now we can see what they're saying. It's a pillbox. You are looking out of the window of a pillbox. They are wandering around the convention. So what's a few things you don't want to do? Darting out in front of a furry. If you need to cross their path, remember, it's bad luck to run in front of a fursuiter because they will glop you, which has broken so many windows. They can't see you. Please be careful when walking around the hallways and the fursuiters are on the move. You are coming out of absolutely nowhere and you are this far from them when they notice you. They get the right of way. Also, we all just saw how low the field of vision goes. It doesn't go that low. So what's down here? There's chairs, there's debris on the ground, and there's those things. Children! There are children down there! And well, a running fursuiter that is in mid punting a child. They get airtime. They bounce. I didn't know that children actually bounced. And then they cry. it is perfectly okay to yell at a fursuiter who's on the move, "Stop, child!" And then the fursuiter can do what they normally do. Stop, contemplate, and Pele. We're all in this one together, which leads us to the more awkward encounters. I want to get rid of the faux pas of them right now. I asked for a hug. I asked for an interaction. They gladly said yes. It's going to happen where someone says no. Has nothing to do with you. I can almost promise you that them passing off a hug, a scritch, an interaction has nothing to do with you. We have clocked the temperature inside fursuits at FurryCon. We put a digital thermometer inside of a classic fursuit head that is fully encased, no fan, no bells, no whistles, full bodysuit. The dealy bobber sat right here over their ears. How hot did he get in that suit?
120.
Over. Under. 129. 129 degrees inside that fursuit head. Hey, how you doing? You want to have a conversation? That's not you. That's because they're boiling! May I scritch the fursuit? That's not you. Their skin is on fire and sweaty. And most importantly, may I have a hug? I don't want you to hug a sponge! Don't take offense. Fursuiters need to cool off. We have to go over this one because unfortunately it has happened at a few conventions and it is something I want all of you aware of. Would you do me a kindness and sit down on the stage and sit perfectly still? Yeah, you gotta move the tail. Absolutely. Oh, look at them just sitting there being an adorable statue. An unmoving statue whose eyes, facial expression, and body language we can't read. Are they alive? Do you know for a fact that they are okay? Because I sure as hell don't, and multiple instances in the past lead me to believe that none of us do. A fursuiter sitting still, laying on the ground, laying in a chair, very common to see. It is perfectly acceptable. Even in a non-responsive fursuiter, in a non-verbal fursuiter. It is perfectly acceptable. You okay? Can I get a verbal answer on that?
Yes.
There it is. That's all it is, and that is all it takes. Why are we doing that? The fursuiter not moving, you don't know what's wrong, if anything. If you ask, are you okay? And they verbally say yes, you're done. Everything is fine. The reason we get the verbal response is because of heat stroke. One of the first things to go in heat stroke is your ability to communicate verbally. I have asked the fursuiter to verbally state that they are okay with a simple yes or no, and that is all it takes. If they can articulate yes, we're fine. If they just start spouting gibberish, or pig Latin, or normal Latin for that matter. No one should be able to speak that. That's how spells are made. Anything else, there is a procedure in place. Heat stroke is a very serious thing. We just told you how warm it gets in these fursuits. You've been in the hallways, you know how warm it can get in those hallways. You've been outside, you know how warm it gets in that stupid laser beam that we have, represented by a star a few million miles from here. Guys, check in on them. And if they don't give you the proper answer, you're going to get our door side. We don't call them security here. That is the slang for what they are doing. Dorsai is not security. That is not what they are here for. Dorsai have two real jobs. One, they're the same as the board of directors. They need to make sure that this con can happen next year. A lot of the jobs of the people who organize these come down to, did we screw up so much that we can't have a con next year? Is the hotel still standing? That's really our biggest question. Stop moving the hotel. We know you can. You're all engineers. Guys, our Dorsai irregulars are here to help facilitate the interaction between us and the venue. They are our first person to come to you. If you are having a room party, you get a knock on your door and it's the Dorsai, that is the convention's way of saying, we heard you, which means the hotel has heard you, and we're being nice and telling you first. Please listen to your Dorsai irregulars. And in this case, you're going to need them because they all have training in this. If you are in a group of people, you find a non-responsive fursuiter, they are not able to answer the question of, are you okay? You are to look at somebody in your group. Do not shout this out as a general thing. You look at one individual person. Go get Dorsai. Give that to a person. Don't shout it to the group. Don't say, somebody go get Dorsai. Studies have shown, somebody go do blank. Everybody thinks that somebody else is going to do it. Go get Dorsai? He's going to go get Dorsai. Once the Dorsai are here, they're going to help them out. We ask that you back off. Now, why is this such a thing? Number one, we already talked about it. You don't know who's in that fursuit. Unless they ask you to help them remove parts of the fursuit, unless they are the one who initiates, never take pieces of fursuit off a person. You don't know what's going on inside. You don't know if they have neck injuries. You don't know if they have wrist injuries. Don't mess around with that. It's never a good idea. The Dorsai know what to do. And two, why are we so serious about this? Because of the next step. The next step is we have to call that magical rave rat wagon, the very expensive one, the ambulance. Do you guys know who Boozy Badger is? Mm-hmm. Boozy wasn't in a fursuit when he was in his car accident. Boozy had just bought a new $3,500 suit for his lawyer career. Also, I want to be a lawyer so I can afford $3,500 suits. Boozy was dressed to the nines. Boozy got into a car accident. Boozy was responsive. They could talk, but they couldn't move. Their mobility, they had shattered their hip. And when they got taken to the ambulance, the same thing happened to them that happens to every fursuit. A fancy suit is restrictive clothes. A fursuit is beyond restrictive clothes. There is nothing inside the manual, inside of that ambulance, that states that they are going to help you out of your fursuit. Everything that they are doing is speed. They're going to cut you out of it. You don't have a choice. You can't say no. Once you are in that ambulance, there are rules they must follow. They will cut off your fursuit. We don't want it to get to that. That's why we are so serious about mitigating these problems and know what's going on beforehand so that we never have to send somebody in the magical rave wagon. Be safe. Know your limits. Who out there is going to get to fursuit this weekend? Raise your hand. We have a bunch of you. That's wonderful. Don't forget how warm it gets in there and what dehydration does in combination with alcohol. Knowing your limits is one thing, knowing your limits in fursuit is another. Please be safe out there. It is so easy to become dehydrated while in suit. Which leads us to the headless lounge. Another item that only exists in furry. You'll see them in anime cons more and more now as furry kind of branches out into different venues. But for the most part, what you need to know is this. Here in the hotel, there is a room called the Headless Lounge. That room is for fursuiters only. That is a place for them to go to remove much of their fursuit, to cool off, and to dry out the fursuit. This room is for the fursuiters and their one handler. Don't go in that room. If you don't have a reason to be in there, that room is a safe space for them to kind of get rid of as much of the carpeting that they are wearing as possible and sit quietly for a few minutes. It's a place for them to get water. If a fursuiter asks you, can you escort me to the Headless Lounge? Take them. Thank you. We really appreciate that. But once you're there, let them go and be on your way. That is their space, and they need it. Again, 129 degrees in that fursuit. Also, this goes without being said, there's absolutely no photography in the Headless Lounge. We will have multiple people in there in different stages of dress trying to cool off. That is a very, very strict policy, no photography in or around Headless Lounge. Other than that, a few things about fursuits they want to be interacted with. If you don't know the non-verbal communications, there's only a few that you need to know. Hugging, you saw me do it, arms outstretched. Picture, simply going like this means that you would like a picture with them. Please have your camera ready. Please have your camera ready. Don't take up the entire hallway, spending 5 minutes answering the call from your mother while we wait for you to take a picture of the 17 Dur and Santa standing behind them. That's such a vivid memory. I love MFF. Respect those fursuits, because that is one of the cornerstones of the fandom. They are living, breathing pieces of art. People have put an immense amount of work into them, and for some people, this is their outlet. This is more than a costume, it's more than art. This is their persona, and this is something that lets them be themselves. And in furry, we all know, it's so important to be yourselves, because you're finally in an environment where you can do it. Guys, let's hear it for our fursuiter. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Yes, my friend.
Just one more little thing to add.
Please.
Interacting with fursuits. Make sure you didn't just finish eating a messy chocolate bar before you sit
Cheeto fingers.
Or have heavy makeup on.
We will send you the cleaning bill. Yeah, no Cheetos, no chocolate, no stains. Yes, please be aware of your being as you interact with the fursuiters. So now we're at the convention itself. We talked about the fursuiters. We talked about what you can do to hopefully stay alive. So now let's talk about what to do to have fun. I've been a panelist at these conventions for years and years, and I cannot recommend enough going to the panels that are taking place at this convention. You have Iggy running around doing game show panels and fun little stage performances. Myself, I'll be doing some of your improv this weekend and a lot of charity shows. Last night, we had MST3K, a chance to sit in an audience, have a cocktail, and scream at a TV. Basically, it's your dad. There are so many things to do this weekend, and to find them, all you need is one of these. Online, we have Sketched. Sketched is always going to be your most updated convention schedule. That is where you can find all the panels. I really recommend one morning when you're laying in bed, when you're getting ready for your day, look at those panels and find things you're interested in. You already heard me say it once, you will get out of a convention what you put into it. I've had friends that showed up to a convention, set up their Nintendo Switch in the room, and had a wonderful time with them and their local buddies in a hotel room playing Mario Kart. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you enjoy, do it. But if you're trying to get the most out of the convention, going to panels is a great start to that. There are panels out there for absolutely everyone. Performance panels that are going to let you come up and be the comedians. Performance panels that are going to be you sit there and enjoy a silly show that probably involves me rhyming and talking about my genitals. That's just how this damn thing works sometime. You're going to get the dance competition, one of the biggest panels in the furry fandom, and if you've never seen it, just about the cutest thing ever. Those tails go whipping around until Tails and Tornadoes has a better reason for their name. We have the charity auction. Charity events left and right at this thing. If you guys haven't met the charity yet this year, I believe we are doing the Pig Foundry. Help me out, what was their name? I already forgot it.
Oinking Acres.
Thank you, Oinking Acres. Guys, that's something that furry does better than most. If you take a look at the numbers that come out of conventions, anime, other, I can't think of any other conventions right now besides anime and furry. What is wrong with me? Cybersecurity. What?
Gen Con.
What kind of conventions do you go to? Did you? Oh, you're at DEFCON? You lucky so-and-so. Nice. A lot of these conventions do charity. Furry does charity. Over the years, when I first joined the fandom, it was a very big deal. I got to be at the MFF where their convention chairman went through the history of the furry fandom and got the chance to announce that over a decade of record-taking, the furry fandom had made $1 million for charity, which was very cool. Until 3 years later, when at the same convention, 3 years versus 10, we hit our second million. In 3 years, the furry fandom raised $1 million mainly for animal welfare charities. Why? Because we're furries, and we help those who can't help themselves. So as you see the bucket brigade going around this weekend, that's fursuiters holding the little boxes for money. When you see the top hat getting passed around panels, when you see a charity performance going on, you want to pop your head in. Don't forget, if you can give, give. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Enjoy the show, and remember, this is furry. Those animals are going to be just fine. And if you want to see the charity cry, go to closing ceremonies. Because, oh, those tears sustain us.
So sweet.
Oh, sweet? No, you should call me. Guys, having fun is up to you. If you're not having fun, don't forget some of the amenities the con has. We have a video game room. Another wonderful place to meet people. There are a bunch of games in there that are multiplayer. The board game room. Grabbing a few of your friends and setting up a game and seeing if anyone wants to join. There's operations. If you need something, if you have a question about the con, go there. They are there to help. That's also where you're going to go if you lose something. Your lost and found is located at operations.
Security ops.
Is security ops and operations separate now?
Two right across from the hall from each other.
They're across the hall from each other because these guys have too many rooms. And of course, just one for all of your information. If you reach Sunday, if the convention is over and you are missing something important, we're not talking about fursuit, hands, pieces of costuming, badge art, your credit card, your driver's license. At the end of the event, when operation shuts down, important items like that go to registration at the front of the hotel. So if you lose something, first check with security. That's where, thank you. First check with security, and then check with hotel staff at the front desk. Those will be the two locations that we send anything that we find. Again, hotel front desk is for your major items, credit cards, driver's license. Don't go home without those. It's very awkward to be pulled over. Tell the gentleman, I think my driver's license is in the back, and then slowly unload the trunk of a furry vehicle with a cop watching. Hands, legs, fake sword, bong, 3 heads. Oh, he left. It's a great way to get out of a ticket or double it. Do we have any questions? And did I get my timing right for once? Not bad. All right. I'm getting faster at this panel. I don't know what that says. Yes, my friend?
How should people get attention for suitors that they want to take pictures of?
Screaming. Fuzzy! Fuzzy! Fuzz! Fuzzy! Fuzz! Fuzz! Fuzzy! Fuzzy! Fuzz! Hi. Screaming is normal here. You're going to hear me screaming all weekend. It's fun. It's cathartic. Scream all you want. This is the best place to do it. No one assumes you're being murdered. This is the worst place to do that. No, getting attention of a fursuiter, feel free, running up to them. They're going to hear you yelling for them. Sometimes not a great idea to yell out their animal, because you could be wrong, and they don't like that. You're such an adorable puppy. You're such an adorable glowing-eyed puppy. And then I got mauled. No, it should be fairly easy to get the attention of any fursuiter, especially for pictures. They love. Yep, the over-the-head wave. This is also how you get ships to blow their horn from shore. That works. You can do anything you want. It's furry. Anyone else have any questions? Then we will end with this. Have fun this weekend. And if you're not, find somebody to help you with that. I'm around all weekend. If you see me wandering around, you're not having a great time, come say hi. I have met so many people throughout the years in this fandom. Indy FurCon itself, this weekend I have counted 6 of my friends that I will only get to see once a year. I got to have a drink with all of them last night. I love FurCons. FurCons have changed my life. I actually used to be an insanely shy, never quiet. I was never quiet, but I was shy and I had trouble communicating with people. And over the last 18 years, that has changed for me. At this point, I spend most of my life getting up on the stage, giving stupid speeches, doing improv, and making new friends. And I want the same for you guys. Because you're furries. And you deserve it. Guys, no, we have one more question. What was that, huh?
What's that room that says sponsors?
Oh, the sponsors lounge? Yes, you...
Where's your badge, Albert?
Are you hosting the con?
Are you supposed to be here?
This is my badge. There we go. My name is 1144. There is a sponsors lounge here for those of you who registered. Attending membership gives you access to the con. Welcome. There are higher levels of membership that will give you access to the sponsor suite, and I believe you guys have a super sponsor level for the super sponsor dinner. Over the years, if you start to enjoy the convention more and more, and especially if you start noticing how hard it is to keep up with 621, cannot recommend Sponsors Lounge for making sure, because it's been a little while for me, you guys just have sodas at all times in the Sponsors Lounge, little snacky stuffs.
As long as we can keep the stock up.
Yeah, so no, stock provided. So yeah, this is a place that you can go to and grab a quick snack, not a real meal replacement, a snack and a drink. Soda, water, keep up your hydration this weekend, guys. Don't forget, a lot of the problems that you will run into at conventions happen because of dehydration. If you're going to drink heavily, do the 2 things that me and my friends do. We'll get a little serious here. Number 1, you're at a FurCon, you want to keep going, do the water trick. Drink a water between your drinks. If you're having beers, who cares? Have a water every now and then. If you're having cocktails, if you're having sugary cocktails, which I know a lot of you like to do, those very flavorful, fruity ones, just drink a glass of water between. You will thank me in the morning. It works. 2, if you really screw it up, if you are obviously, your hangover is real, this is going to be a pain in the ass, take some time for yourself, and hopefully you have a friend that can run to the store, is real, and get you Pedialyte. You guys know what Pedialyte is?
Yeah.
Formula. It has everything your body needs when you kill it with alcohol. It is one of the best tricks to get out of a hangover, other than don't get there in the first place. And 3, set this up. Me and my friends started doing this years ago. It has made my convention experiences better. I have trusted people here. I hope you do too. If one of those people comes up to me and says one of 2 things, an immediate action happens. The first one is, hey Alkaline, you look like you should go to bed. That is their way of saying, you don't know how drunk you are, go to bed. And I do. My friends have the ability to send me to bed because I trust them. The other one is, we're on a timer. If one of my friends leans in and says, we're on a timer, that means somebody else is drunk and we're all going back to the room. Set that up with your friends, guys. Parties are fun. Having a good time, letting yourself go is a blast. You don't want to pay for it the next morning. Just do it smart. Your friends are going to be a huge boon to that activity. All right, anyone else? Yes, my friend.
Maybe want to add something about, watching your drink and being safe, because you never know.
Yeah, guys, if you don't know the person, don't take drinks from strangers. If you don't know the person, that's not a good move. Keep your drink in hand. Don't be stupid. And look, we all know what happens behind closed doors at this place. That's great. For the love of God, use a condom. Just use it. And also afterwards, there's the one, take the damn shower! And remember, just because we didn't talk about it in your hotel rooms, you are an attendee at a FurryCon. You are not visiting your parents. They are not here to clean up after you. They are here to straighten up the room. It is perfectly acceptable to throw usually what we have done in the past is a $5 tip in the room for your cleaning ladies every day if you are getting the room clean. Don't forget, you can turn that off as well. But please be respectful to the room. Does anyone in here have service animals? All right, really quick, if you see a service animal at this con, that will be a animal wearing some kind of a vest. It will clearly state they are service animals. They are not a dog. They are nothing. They are invisible. Ignore them. They are working. Service animals are not to be touched, basically not to be interacted with. If you want to, wait for later when they take it outside for a walk, they will take off the service vest, and that is the time to actually pet the adorable little puppy. Guys, don't mess around with service animals. Those are very important. All right, anyone else? Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, remember, you will get out of the convention what you put into it. My name is Alkali. Enjoy the convention, and good night!
Night. Good morning.
Good morning!
Hey, your badge, it's right there.
How you doing?
All right. Yeah.